All right, we're gonna do some T-spine extensions here. So to do these guys, we're gonna have Dawn put her hands right by her chest. Yep. And then the goal is to lift the head and spine as if her spine is a string of pearls, right? So this is an exercise that follows the foam roller extension exercise really well, because the goal of this exercise is to teach all of these little muscles right along the spine how to work so that they gain the ability to activate and the strength and endurance to hold you upright where you belong, okay? So these arms here are just here to help support you, because these little muscles don't have the strength yet to work on their own. And if you do not use those arms to help assist all these little guys up here that are not working, that lower back or the glutes or the legs or the calves, something is going to kick in and help you when it should not be, okay? So we start by laying nice and flat. You can create a little bit of pressure through the tops of your feet down, like from the whole leg down through the ground, right? Hands by the shoulders, reaching long through the crown of the head, and then thinking of your spine as a string of pearls starting all the way up here. You're going to lift one vertebra at a time, being aware of if anything below that little pearl spot is activating. Well, she's doing really great so far. Good. So if you happen to feel, here we're getting to a spot where you almost as if you like miss the capability for an area to work, and then you start to feel somewhere else working extra, you want to pause, tell that low back is generally what I'll see, tell that low back or wherever to release, and then re-engage the top half. So you're thinking reach long through the chest. As this level is trying to lift, the area below that is trying to drop just a little bit to create a little bit of space for that vertebra above it to come backwards. Yes, that looks lovely. So you're gonna go as far as you can go, and you're gonna hold that then for 10 to 30 seconds, whatever feels good. You're gonna take a breath in, and then on your exhale, you're gonna relax and let yourself come all the way down, slow and controlled. Good. And then you can rest there for as long as you feel like you need to, and then you're gonna go again, okay? Little pressure in the legs, reaching tall through the crown of the head, opening one vertebra at a time, making sure not to skip any areas. If you skip, take a pause, relax that area, re-engage where that string of pearls would be lifting already. Good. Trying to drop the area below it down just a little bit as you reach further forward, creating distance between the ribs and the hips. Good. As you're breathing in this space, you're trying to bring that breath into your back and all the way out around your torso and all the way down into that sacrum and pelvis, as if you're blowing up a balloon, and that balloon is going to expand in all directions, around and down. Yes? And then when you've held that for long enough, especially if you start to feel like you're having to engage somewhere else, you're going to relax down and repeat. Ideally, you're doing this exercise 2 to 3 times a day, and you're doing sets of 10-second holds as you get the time to. If you can't do that many in a day, totally understandable, but the more times you can sneak that in, the better. Eventually, you can work to doing this seated, but if when you move to seated, you feel like you're having to strain in hip flexors, low back, anywhere else, you're not ready to do it in a seated position yet. So the seated version of this, if you can do the prone version, then the seated version of thoracic spine extensions is going to look like this. And we want to make sure that you can do the prone version before the seated version because it's a little bit easier for your body. However, as fast as you can get into the seated version, the better, because that makes it easier for you to sneak in throughout your day. You can just do, 1 or 2 sets of them or reps of them, whenever you think about it, every 20 minutes or every hour or whatever throughout your day, okay? So for this one, we're gonna pull up nice and tall, just like we lengthened in the prone face down position. And we're going to anchor this by thinking to engage those hamstrings as if you're trying to pull if you were in a chair, you'd be trying to pull your foot back towards your butt, or trying to press a little bit of those legs down into the chair that you're sitting on. Or if your legs are straight out in front of you, pushing the legs straight down into the ground a little bit, right? That'll just help activate that core. Okay, so a little bit of activation, a little bit of pulling tall. Then we're going to look up at the ceiling and then lift through the throat and lift through the chest and lift through the chest even more. Yes, so that you're opening up just a little bit. Now, down and just try to rock a little here. That is a great example of her skipping this area that doesn't want to work and jumping to an area that she's already able to move. So she paused. She's sort of gonna re-engage that core, and then she's gonna come back up here and work through that extension again. So when you do this seated, you will not have nearly the arch that you can have laying down, at least not initially, because you have to get some serious strength and extension capability through here, so range of motion through here, before you can extend that top half without it kinking the bottom. Cool? All right, and there you have seated extensions in that T-spine.